Hi everyone, it's Jennifer, and this is the last video in my series called My Favorite Crafty Things. Today I'm going to focus on die cutting. Now there are a lot of different dies out there, a lot of different die cutting machines, a lot out there. However, I'm just going to kind of touch the surface here and share some of the things that I've really been enjoying lately. And companies have also recently come out with some really creative dies that do interactive cards or pop-up cards or dimensional pieces, which I'll show you some of my favorites here too. First of all, there's two different types of dies that I like to use. One is the wafer thin dies. These are great because they're inexpensive and easy to store, and you can get super intricate die cuts from it. This one's from Memory Box. That's one of my favorite companies to get dies from. And you can see this real detailed bow. I used it to create this card here. You can see how fine of a die cut you can get from these little dies. Here's one that also shows how small you can go. This cuts little flowers, and I think these would be fun to scatter on a card. This one from Simon Says Stamp creates little banners, which I'll show you later how these fold up. They're really wonderful for greetings. These also from Simon Says Stamp are great for greetings too. This is a great die set to have because you could put all different kinds of greetings on this and then pop it on a card. It really works with a lot of different styles. I also like dies from My Favorite Things and dies like this that have different sizes together. So these are all different clouds in different sizes. And you can see some of these are really big, like the one I used on the card here. There are also some fun dies like this one that covers the entire back of a card. This one's from Simon Says Stamp. You'll see it creates little star holes in the back of a card. It's really fun to have dies like this because you could cover the back of a card, or in this example here, I just did little background along the front of a card. Now there are also traditional dies. These are the thicker dies, and these cut through a lot more. Those other cut through paper, maybe 2 sheets if you're lucky, but there's also these heavy traditional dies. These will cut through more, and these will cut through thicker things like grunge board or chipboard. The steel rule die is actually in the foam there. And then there are these from Tim Holtz that you can actually take these little movers and shapers dies and pop them in here, and it'll cut the little snowflake wherever you want in the die. So it's just another fun option that you can do with these big dies. This die itself actually makes a pillow box, which I'll show you a little bit later in the video. But I like Tim Holtz dies because you can pop other little shapes in there too. Now, as far as die cut machines, a lot of people ask what die cut machines I like the best. There are two that I love, the Big Shot and the Vagabond. The Big Shot is just your traditional die cut machine, so I'm not going to show it here. I use it in a lot of videos, but by far my favorite machine is the Vagabond. They're both made by Sizzix, so they're high quality machines with good customer service. The Vagabond is great because it's like the big mama of die cutting. It will cut through anything, and it's really strong, and it's motorized. For the big traditional dies, you just put the die and the paper in between the two clear cutting plates, press a button and run it right through, and it just cuts like butter. It's fantastic, and you could do several of these at once, several sheets of paper. This is that pillow box die, and I'll show you how to assemble it later on. Now you can also use the Vagabond for the wafer thin dies. However, you do need to get one extra piece. That comes with this piece here. You need to get the Solo Thin die adapter, and you just buy that separately, and then you have everything that you need to use this die cut machine. The Big Shot comes with everything you need. The Vagabond needs this extra piece. So you put those plates down, then the clear plate and the paper and die and another clear plate on top, and it just die cuts beautifully. So you'll just need to buy that one extra piece, and I'll link it on my blog. However, you can use all of these dies with other machines such as the Cuttlebug. I just happen to use the Vagabond and Big Shot the most. And this is that banner die that I showed you before. Look at how it creates this fun little folded banner that you can stamp a greeting on and put on a card. I'll be sure to link all these products on my blog. Now there are a lot of new dies out right now that are interactive. They pop up or do fun stuff, or are three-dimensional. You can kind of fold them to create something fun. So I thought I'd show you some of my favorites in this video just so you can see how far die cutting has come. This first one is really fun. They actually have two different sizes. This is from My Favorite Things, which is one of my favorite wafer thin die companies. And it creates two different size bows. And they actually have a smaller one also that they sell separately. You just put it in your machine with a piece of paper, and it cuts all the pieces that you need. And it's really easy to put together. You just put some glue in the center and then fold one flat back. and the other flat back, and there you can see the bow starting to come together. I'm going to do a bunch of these from glitter paper for putting on presents for Christmas, but these are great on the front of a card because it'll flatten nicely when you put it in the mail, but then pop back up and be really nice and dimensional. And you just take the little piece it also cuts and wrap it around the middle to hold it nice and tight. They also have the piece that comes out the side, which you could wrap underneath that other piece in the middle if you wanted to, but you can see the ribbon stick out the side quite nicely. Then the same die also does a smaller one, so I'll show you how to do it again. You just put adhesive in the middle, fold the two sides in. If you wanted to, you could put a foam dot in those little loops to keep them nice and fluffy. And then you can put the ribbon on the back, and then take the little piece it cuts to wrap around the center to hold it all together. So these are really cute and easy to put together, and you could put them on presents or cards. You could even cut the ribbons in the back apart and have them come down diagonally from the inside if you wanted to. Now this die doesn't look like a whole lot here, but it actually creates a really cool interactive feature for the inside of a card. It actually pops up in the inside of a card. So let me show you how it works. It cuts this shape here and actually scores all the score lines that you need for the folding. It comes with instructions to show you, but basically you just want to fold along all of the score lines. Now you'll notice here I'm going to start folding it so you see the crease at the top and the bottom actually come in to meet each other in the center. See how it folds in there at the top and the bottom? It's really easy to do. Those 2 points will touch, and then you know you've got it folded right. It shows you on the instructions. Very easy to do. Now what you do is you flip it over and you see those two raised flat triangle areas. We're going to put adhesive on those. So I'm going to put adhesive on that triangle and adhesive on this triangle, and then also on the two flaps. So I've got the two flaps with adhesive, and here I'm going to show you these scribbles are where the adhesive is, just in case you couldn't see. So in the two triangles and then the two flaps. So now this is ready to put inside of a card. Now you also need something for this to pop up, and I like to use a circle. So I take a 3-inch circle or any size, 3.5-inch circle, fold it in half, and we're going to have these two pieces go on the inside of a card. So I'm going to have these both ready and pick a card that I want to put this inside of. Once you have the card ready, you're going to take your circle and kind of like a mouth, chomp it onto those two little pieces that stick out. They have adhesive on them, so it holds it in place. This looks kind of silly, but don't worry, it'll come together nicely. You just put this point right at the center of the crease of the card on the inside and hold it there, and then close the card onto it and press it down, and watch, it just pops right up when you open it. So you could stamp a greeting or put a stamped image on here that pops up, but what I like to do is actually put a gift card on it. I'm going to do this for teacher gifts. You put adhesive on one half of the circle, you just kind of peel the card back so you can hold it there. Just use a temporary adhesive so they can get the card off. Put the gift card right up against the edge of the die, and watch, it just pops up to present a gift card. I think that's so much fun, and these wafer-thin dies are inexpensive. They make a good investment. Now there are other interactive dies like this from Sizzix and also more from Crafty Cuts, and I'll link them on my blog. Here's another fun 3-dimensional die from Sizzix. It creates a bow that's perfect to put on top of a present, and you can make it out of any pattern papers that you want. You'll need a brad for this. I suggest going to the office supply store and getting a big brad. I only had a small one, so I put a little circle reinforcement behind it. Now this die cuts 3 different size strips like you see here, and you just need to run it through 5 times. So you have 5 of each of the 3 different size pieces. And once you can use scraps for this, you can mix and match patterns and papers, whatever you want. So you start with a small one, and the instructions come with the die, but I thought I'd show you here, and you make a loop, and then you put the brad through it. Very easy to do, and you pop the brad right through it, and then you're going to go ahead and put all 5 of the small strips onto it first. So you create a loop. It's like creating the neck on a shirt here, and you just pop it onto the back of the brad, and you keep adding these until all 5 of the small ones are looped onto the brad. And you just want to hold them in place so they don't slip off the brad. You can see why having a bigger brad with longer legs would be easier to use, and I think the inexpensive ones from office supply store would be perfect. So once you have all 5 small ones on there, you can see how it's starting to come together. You could even use it like this if you wanted to. You're going to start adding all 5 of the medium size, and you can see here I've kind of got the hang of it here, and you just put the end down on one, and then watch, I just swoop the other end around and put it onto the brad too. and you put all 5 of the medium size down, and they actually all start to kind of come together. You don't have to really work them much, they just kind of go in the right place. And then I put all 5 of the big size on there, and you end up with the perfect bow for the top of a present. I just love it. Now earlier I showed you the Tim Holtz pillow box. It creates this pillow box here. I cut a piece earlier and I showed you. And you just go ahead and kind of fold it along all of the score lines. It's really easy to do. And I think this would be great to put a gift card in or put jewelry in for a gift. He even has a die that cuts like a mini shopping bag that would be good for a gift also. So once you have this piece scored and put some tape along the little flap there, or some adhesive, you just fold it over, and then the sides will kind of pop in and stay secure, and all you have to do is wrap some ribbon around it, and there you have a fun little package. So there's lots of great dies out there. Here's another die from Sizzix that's fun. It creates a pop-up or a flip note card. So watch that. You just pull the side and it flips. I use this die all the time. It also comes with a circle in the center or a heart or a bracket, but I like the square and the circle the best. And you can see how much fun this would be to put a photo on the inside. There's a lot you can do with this die. I think it's fun to create unexpected cards, and this definitely does fit the bill. Another fun thing is companies are coming out with stamps and matching dies. There are a lot of companies that offer this. My Favorite Things, Simon Says Stamp, Memory Box, there's quite a few. But one of the ones that I like the most are the ones offered by Hero Arts and Sizzix, because they match perfectly and they're easier because you can actually stamp before you die cut. So they come in packages like this. All the stamps with the matching dies are in the package together. And what's great is you can stamp first. So there's no trying to die cut and then make your stamp line up on it. So let me just show you quickly how that works. You just stamp the ornament, whatever shape you have. And then these dies are unique in that the cutting edge is right on the inside. So you can just line it up and you'll know that it'll cut perfectly around the edge. I just put a little piece of tape to hold it and run it through your die cut machine, and you have a perfectly cut stamped image. So I hope this gives you a little overview of the types of dies that I like and gets you interested in trying some of them out. If you have any questions, please visit my blog at jennifermcguireinc.com. Thanks for watching.